What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got a look at the first alternate arts that are coming around from EB-02, as well as some new super rares that are coming around from EB-02. Frankly, EB-02 is starting to look good. I've been hyping this set up for weeks, and frankly, every time I hype it up, something else gets revealed, and I just go, oh, cool, I was right. This set looks awesome. I'm watching the anime very slowly with my kids, as I keep telling you. I'm not a huge anime fan. I'm a manga dude. When it comes to One Piece, I'm a big manga dude. Love the manga. About a third of the way through on my second reading. And this is an anime focus set. But I'm telling you right now, this looks like one of the most fun sets we've had. And I am absolutely delighted. So what have we got? We've got the alternate art Luffy leader. Bearing in mind, of course, that Luffy is the only leader in EB-02. It was confirmed in the press release that we are only getting one leader in the set. So we know for a fact, it's actually on the Japanese website as well. We know for a fact that we are only getting one leader. It is Luffy, and we've got the alternate art. What do we feel about this alternate art leader? It's alright, innit? I do. It's an anime style artwork. It's not my favourite. And I don't say that as a big negative or as a terribly bad thing. I say it as exactly what it is. It's not my favourite. Now, my least favourite of the alternate art leaders are the ones from OP10. I just actively dislike the ones from OP10. And it's a personal opinion. I'm sure not everyone's going to agree with me. I don't like the ones from OP10. I think the ones from OP10 look a bit rubbish. Which makes me sad, because we got Tashigi Smoker. And even that is it's just not one I'm enjoying at all. I just don't think they've nailed the look of these leaders. Whereas if you go for something like OP-04, for instance, oh, I like the leaders from OP-04. They are my favourite style of artwork when we're looking at these alternate art leaders. But the point is, we've got the Luffy here, we've got the alternate art, and it's cool. And people are going to love this. And that's rather lovely. It's the only one in the set. I wish we'd just go back to the manga style, honestly. That would make me the happiest. But it's a cool looking leader. It's not a million miles away from that kind of style, by which I mean just a zoom in on the top of the character. It's alright. It's not my favourite. Remember, the leader as a whole is activate main once per turn, Don -2. You get to activate 2 Don. And then until the end of your opponent's next turn, this leader gets an extra 1,000 power, which is obviously very important because it means that your opponent has constantly got to be having an extra 1,000 power for every attack they want to get through for the rest of the game. Nah, mate. Not loving this at all. Not a big fan. To be clear, not a big fan of having to have the extra 1,000. I'm a big fan of forcing my opponent to have the extra 1,000. So this is cool. But we also have our first alternate art character. It is Trafalgar Law. And we've got the regular art as well. And this is one we haven't seen before. We've got a Dressrosa Supernova Heart Pirate character. 5 cost, 6,000 power, counter plus 1,000, black super rare. And we've got, on play, you may return 2 cards from your trash to the bottom of your deck in any order to choose one of the following things. Either draw a card, or if your opponent's got 5 cards or more in hand, they trash a card from their hand. So either you gain a card or your opponent loses a card. It's nice. It's an on-play, it's a one-shot deal, but still. Oh, it's also got blocker. I don't think I said that a second ago, but obviously also got blocker. Bit of draw or bit of disruption combined with the blocker. Sounds good to me. And obviously this seems pretty good in an Usopp deck. Usopp, of course, being Dressrosa. And Usopp does say that all of your cost 2 or higher Dressrosa characters gain +1 cost. Just a bit more annoying for your opponent. And then during your opponent's turn, once per turn, when one of your Dressrosa characters would be KO'd or removed from play by one of your opponent's effects, and you've got 5 or fewer cards in hand, you get to draw a card. So essentially what we're doing here is just drawing extra cards. You're drawing extra cards with Usopp, and we're also then drawing extra cards with, or an extra card with Trafalgar Law here. Plus, you got yourself an extra blocker, and it's all Dressrosa and all of that. This all adds up quite nicely. I kind of like this. This makes me happy. And to be fair, from what I'm seeing over in Japan, as I previously told you, Usopp does seem to be the best leader from OP10. And it's still early. But from what I've seen, in terms of all the OP10 leaders, Usopp is having the most success and seeing the most play over in Japan. So this just seems like an extra trick to boost up what is already a pretty good deck. And then we've got the lovely alternate art of it as well, because obviously that's kind of the whole hook here, right? It's the first one for which we've seen the alternate art. The alternate art is fine. Again, it's not one that I'm absolutely falling over myself for, but I think I'm in the minority here. People seem to love this. It actually looks very much like a special rare, and has got the feeling of some of these newer special rares, while also being just a regular alternate art. Also, fun little side note, it's obviously a Dressrosa card. It's got Usopp in Dressrosa gear, kind of chilling behind Law. And I really appreciate the fact that this is a card which is probably going to be best in Usopp decks. And you've got the Usopp leader, or the same style of Usopp as we see on the leader, chilling behind Trafalgar Law in the artwork of this card. That makes me happy. Now, they're the alternate art cards we've got as I record this, but there are some others we need to talk about, including what I think is the only super rare that's been revealed so far that we haven't had a chat about, and that is Vegapunk. Also, anyone who's reading the manga right now and is up to date with the manga, things are getting interesting, right? That's all I'm going to say. But I like this Vegapunk. I like Vegapunk generally, honestly. I like the Vegapunk leader from OP-07. It's not proven to be a particularly good deck, and that honestly makes me genuinely sad. I think there's a lot of potential with Vegapunk, clearly, and the alternate art is stunning. Now, this is an alt art leader I can get behind. But it's just not ended up being a particularly good leader. It's not ended up making any real waves, which is really sad. However, there's always been potential there. Could this new super rare egghead, or Vegapunk, could it make a difference? Well, what we've got here is 5 cost, 0 power, counter plus 1,000 blocker. Remember, the 5 cost here, incredibly important, because the leader says, activate main once per turn, pay 1, select up to 1 egghead type card of a cost of 5 or less from your hand, and play it to the top of your life cards face up. So it can be put down using your leader skill. That's very important. Then we've got blocker, and we do have a trigger here saying draw a card. So not only can you put it on top of your life with a leader skill, but you actually do then get the chance to draw a card as well, which is nice. But then we've got on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a 5 cost or lower scientist card other than Vegapunk, very important, but then you get to play it. You get to look at the top 5 cards of your deck, find a scientist that is cost 5 or lower, and literally play it. So you play Vegapunk, and then you get to play another one. Not Vegapunk, obviously, but another different card. This is awesome. Really like this. This is very cool. Oh, I should say, after you play the character, if your opponent only has 2 characters or less, you do have to discard a card. So essentially, if this gives you too much of an advantage, then you do have to trash a card from your hand. But if your opponent's got 3 or more characters, then they're set up enough. This is fine. Love this. Love that you're getting a blocker on board. Love that you can play it with put it on top of your life with a leader. Love that it's got a trigger that draws a card. Love that you get to play this and then another 5 cost as well. This is just brilliant. I like this, as you may have already guessed. I've said that several times. I like this very much indeed. And Vegapunk's always been one of those decks that I've always wanted to be really good. And it's just never worked. Not well enough. I would like that to change. I would love it if this could be the catalyst. By the way, in terms of 5 cost or lower scientists, we haven't got a huge amount of options. We do actually have the Gastino from EB-01, which is not terrible. But then again, that's not an Egghead card, and you really want to try and go Egghead as much as you can for the leader here. So we do have the Atlas from OP-07, which is, can't be KO'd by, in battle, which is nice, and a really nice trigger, and is also Egghead. Or the Edison from OP-07, which lets you draw 2 trash 2, and it's got the trigger that you can play it if it's Vegapunk, and is Scientist Egghead. You want Scientist Egghead 5 cost or less, with a decent trigger. These all count so far. The Shaka from OP-07, same deal, but it's also a blocker. And Pythagoras from OP-07, same deal, but if your life is 2 or less, you can play a 4 cost or lower Egghead character from your trash on KO, which is good. Or the York from OP-07, lets you KO a character. You'll notice they've all got the same trigger. They're all 5 cost or lower. They're all Scientist Egghead. We've got the Lilith from OP-07, which is your Searcher. But again, same trigger and all of that. We've got some nice options. And one bad one from EB-01. Point is, you add all of this together with the new Vegapunk, with the Vegapunk leader. And again, I'm not saying it's going to be the thing that all of a sudden breaks this deck wide open, but I am saying it's going to help very much indeed. So there we go. That's what you need to know. There's all the new cards. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you're excited about here. Tell me which of these cards might be great for you. Tell me what you think of the alternate arts. Tell me anything you want to tell me in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about One Piece and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.